Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's tutorial, we'll be learning on how to make a mini short as displayed in the screen. So for this tutorial, we'll be using 1.5 yard of fabric. This fabric is length 45. You can go for any one of your choice. We'll be making use of 1-inch elastic and our tape, meter rule, scissors and chalk. So let's get into the video. So these are our measurements. While our hip is 40, our crotch is 12.5. If you don't know how to calculate your crotch, there is a video on my channel, you can go and check it out. Our lap is 24 and the length of the short is 19. Now you can see that for the hip I added 5. This is because the pant is going to be like a jumbo pant, a mini jumbo short, so we are adding extra 5-inch allowance to the clothes, and we are adding it for the hip and the lap. Our crotch remains 12.5 and our length remains the same. So 40 plus 5 gave us 45, and for the lap 24 plus 5 gave us 29. Now for the hip, we're going to be dividing it by 4 to give us 11.25, and for the lap we're going to be dividing it by 2 to give us 14.5. Now let's input all of these measurements on our fabric. Now we are starting from the length. The length of our short is 19. This is 19 at the end of our fabric. We are going to be adding extra 2-inch allowance for the folding at the bottom. I want the folding to be big, so you can add based on how big or small you want your folding to be. I'll be adding a band of 1.5-inch allowance. So I'm going to start my marking from here. If you don't understand, you can go over the video again. So this place I'm marking out is going to be my band, and this the length of my short. So firstly, we'll start by drawing out our lines. I call it horizontal lines, like our standard line. For our hip is at 9-inch. Our crotch, like we calculated, is 12.5. For these jumbo shorts, this is what we just need: the starting line, which is also known as the waistline, the hip line, and our crotch line, then the full length. Now for the hip line, for our total measurement, we arrived at 11.25. So this is 11.5, this is 11.5, this is 11.25, this is 11.75. So 11.25, 11.75. So this is where we are marking on. Note, for the front piece of your short, we are adding no allowance. We're just going to cut it exactly like the exact measurement we took. Then we go over to the crotch line. The crotch line is where you are going to input your lap measurement. And for our lap measurements, after calculating, we arrived at 14.5. Although it's looking like within adjust 12. So I'm just going to like readjust a bit and then continue. So with the aid of our curve rule, we are just going to curve down from the hip line to the crotch line. which we took our lap measurement on. You can make use of your hand if you don't have a ruler. And then on our hip line, we're just going to go up straight. We are going to be using elastic for the band, so we really do not need an accurate or an exact waist measurement. And then you go straight down. You just go rule a line straight down. You come up to the waistline. You come down by ½ inch, and then you give a slant. We are going to be adding pocket to the front piece, but that's after we must have cut our back piece, because we are using the front piece to cut the back piece. So stay tuned. So for the back piece, the fold will be bigger than the front because we'll be adding allowance to the back. On the crotch line, we are going to come up by 2. I'm coming out by 2 because the measurement of this client is 40 for hip. If you have a measurement that is higher than 40, you would want to come up so that the material will cover your client's hip area and boot area very well. So this is dependent on the boot of the client. If your client has a larger boot, you have to come up by 4 or 5. So we'll be going up by 2 inch. On the crotch line, please look carefully. Now on all of the other parts of the short, we'll be coming out by 3 inches. So we are giving this short 3 inches extra allowance. So we have come all out by 3 inches and we have aligned it together. Remember, we came up on the crotch line by 2, so we're going to extend this line up to this 3 that we took here. Now we are going to measure what we have on our waist here, which is 12 inches. We're going to input our 12 inches on this back line. Mind you, we are starting from this extra that we came out by. So this is where it's ending on the back. So we're just going to like slant it down to this place. You can go over again just to get it. You saw how we slanted it. Then you connect this line, this your new waistline for the back. You connect it to the hip line. I extended the hip line out to the back piece. So this is our hip line for the back piece. So you're just going to extend this waist down to the hip line this way. So that's all for the back. We'll now cut it out. So we are done cutting the back piece and the front piece. This is the back. The back is usually bigger than the front. Now I've taken out the back. You come to the front. By this other side, this is where we'll be inputting our pocket. So you come up, you mark 2, you go down and you mark 6. And then you slant. And you cut it out. So while sewing, you go ahead and fix your pockets this side.